Bleedin story. Hello, Alana. Welcome to my podcast.
No, our podcast.
Welcome to our podcast.
I'm Alana, and this is
Jacqueline. Did you take the ADD tablets? Did you take them ADD
Did
tablets?
you take yours? Fucking go.
I'm fucking ready to go.
We want to talk about the beginning of where we started.
Where we started, okay.
Where you were introduced to this world thanks to me.
This is how it all happened.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so Alana come home from college. So I went outside to take her clothes in that you were doing your laundry, and I seen your inspection sticker on the Jeep was out of whack. 6 months.
No, it was not 6 months.
Oh well, it was fucking 4.
Okay, fine. 4.
All right, it was 4. So I says, Alana, did you get any tickets on the car? And she goes, no, Dad. So that to me didn't sound very convincing. I went out and I had a look in the car in the glove box.
Yeah.
And I found a load of tickets.
A heap of them. A heap of tickets.
A heap of tickets. So I says, Alana, I thought you got no fucking tickets. And so anyway, I had to go and get an inspection done on the car. So they lifted up on a lift and they check everything, and I had to get brakes done front and back. I had to get tires done front and back.
Must have been a malfunction with the car. Wasn't my fault.
It wasn't. No, the fucking tires were worn out and the brakes were worn out, Alana. There's no malfunction on that.
It wasn't. It's definitely malfunction.
Wear and tear of driving a vehicle.
Okay, right. So it wasn't my fault. It just happens.
And we were going home to Ireland.
Yeah.
Ireland for Christmas. We usually go home for 2 or 3 weeks. I brought the car back.
All right.
And I said, Lana, everything's done in your fucking car. I don't want to hear it again. You know
and off I went. But I had seen all these American girls do it, and their dads were like, it's okay, sweetie. Like, it's going to be fine. Like, the car will eventually start. Like, we'll get it to fix, like, whatever. And I was like, oh, my God. Like, if I called my dad and said...
start. Oh, yeah.
If I called my dad and said...
When you get a new engine, it'll eventually start.
If I called my dad and said that I filled the car with green gas, he'd obviously think it was diesel. And I was like, he would not be this calm, so let me just give it a go.
So Alana plays this prank on me and goes... So I says, when I got back with your car, I just turned around. It cost me fucking $2.5 grand. I said, Alana, your car's all done. I don't want to fucking hear it now. That's it. You know what I mean? We had to pay the tickets, everything. So, with that, like, as I say, like, an inspection is like an MOT. You have to get your MOT done in Ireland. It's like an inspection sticker over here. You know what I mean? Say everything's up to scratch. Your brakes are good. Your tires are good. Your car is roadworthy. Happy days. So when I got back, I said, Lana, here's your car. Away off with you now. I'll talk to you soon. I'll see you. We were leaving on the Wednesday, was it, for Ireland?
Yeah.
We were leaving on the Wednesday for Ireland. So Alana was just after taking off, and I get a phone call. Dad, I says, what's up, Alana? She goes, Dad, my car won't start. I'm in the garage. I says, what the fuck do you mean your car won't start? Everything was fine. You must have left something fucking on, a light or something. What did you do? I didn't do anything, Dad. I put the Christmas gas in. I says, the Christmas gas? What are you talking about, fucking Christmas gas? She goes, the green gas. I said, that's fucking diesel, you fucking idiot. So that was the start of it. So everybody was, that's how that happened. So we get off the plane in Ireland, everybody's, oh, you're that daddy with the Christmas gas and all this. I didn't even know what the fuck was going on.
No, literally, we would walk into, I was in the bloody stream, and someone in Hoth, and someone stopped me and was like, oh my God, you're from TikTok. And here I am like, who's from TikTok? Because I only put up the one video, and I was like, yeah, I'm on TikTok, but like no one's fucking knowing who I am. And then they were like, oh my God, is your dad here? And I'm like, I'm sure he's around here somewhere. He'll pop in any minute now. And then they were like, can we get a photo with you guys? I didn't think that. I thought it was like a prank. Like, I thought these people were just doing it for like the shits.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. It was pretty funny because I'm going through Dublin. We ended up going to Vicar Street, Damien Dempsey. We went into Vicar Street. I met a few of the lads that used to play with the Dublin football team in there. And that's the trip we do every year. Damien Dempsey, you pay a couple of days before Christmas.
Yeah.
And everybody was pulling me over.
It's usually the day we
you're
fly.
That TikTok, dude, you're that TikTok. And I'm like, I don't even do fucking TikTok. What are you talking about? And
But
said,
Mom,
no, you're all over TikTok, man. Look at. So anyway, a few blokes showed me what the fuck, you know what I mean, what was going on. I said, holy shit, Lana put me all over the, you know what I mean, put me up on this thing. I didn't know how to fucking do TikTok even. So the lads are saying, so I was laughing at this. Yeah, I guess I'm him. It looks like me anyway.
I'd be looking at the comments sometimes, and sometimes, like, whatever, you're obviously going to get some negative comments. Like, some people were saying things about me, some people were saying things about you, but then you'd have loads of people in the comments being like, oh, I met your dad years ago. Like, I met your dad here in, I met him in Hill 16.
Yeah, we had a double match.
Yeah, I met him at a double match. I met him in Hill 16. I know your dad for years, pouring concrete.
Well, that's funny because, yeah, listen, you're going to get negative. Like, there was a lot of stuff there saying because I said, I'm just saying you're fucking angel, like, you know.
No, because the American people didn't understand that humor. Like, I got people like, oh, you shouldn't let your dad talk to you like that. Like, you're going to fall for men that treat you like that. Like, trust me, if anyone talked to me that way, I got you involved, and then you put them straight.
Yeah, you should turn around and say, well, I hope I meet someone like me dad. He's fucking deadly. You know what I mean? He's brilliant. You know, so, no, so that's how that kicked off.
I want to know. Why and when you moved over here? Like, what sparked your interest in moving? The American dream, or what was it?
Well, I just came over. A mate of mine was over here working, and I just came over for a visit. And
you're still on your visit?
In 1986, and I'm still on my visit.
I think the visa's expired. Did you get what you were looking for?
Yeah, well, it hasn't expired yet, you know what I mean? I still have a couple of years left on it, you know? No, the visa was long out. It was fucking, I couldn't go home for 10 years because I overstayed my visa.
You fucking shut up.
What? So, yeah, I had no papers for 10 years. Past the statute of limitations, Alana. I know all about that, you know what I mean?
All right, then, good one. Keep it going.
So the statute is fucking gone by.
So you outran them. You outran them.
I ran them, yeah. You know what I mean? The blue lights, when they were chasing me, I always fucking...
You dodged them.
I was like the fucking... What's that?
It was the funniest story.
What was that cartoon? I was like, me. You know? Holly says she's running the marathon. I said, the only time I ran a marathon when blue lights were behind me. I ran many of them back in Dublin.
No, but the funniest thing, I'm sitting there, and I think I was in... When did you get your citizenship?
Citizenship, well, I only had a green card for fucking the longest time. And,
no, when did you get your citizenship? Like, what year would you say?
I guess about 2005.
No, because I remember, it was way after that. Because it must have been 2010 or 2008, right? So the day that he was going in, like, whatever, they quiz you and all.
Yeah, you do.
They quiz you. You do a big quiz.
You have to do a quiz on the American,
United States. What I mean? So here I am in middle school, learning the same things that he's learning to get his fucking citizenship. And I'm sitting there and I walk in and I'm like, what's up, Dad? He's like, I pledge allegiance to the flag. He's like learning the Pledge of Allegiance. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm getting my citizenship. I have to learn all about America. Then he's asking me to quiz him on the freaking the president of the United States.
Right.
And I'm walking in and I'm like, but we're about like the same age group at this point because I'm learning the same things you're learning at that stage. So here we were. I think I had a social studies test the next day. So working with you on that was perfect. I was able to help you and you helped me.
Yeah, it was basic questions like about it was like you had to know many stars were on the flag, many stripes on the flag, fucking.
So is it?
How many in the Supreme Court? How many?
Are you smarter than a fifth grader? That does.
I went to see a man from the immigration, the fellow from the immigration anyway. But there was a boxing match in the garden that weekend. It was some big boxing match on it, you know what I mean?
Probably John Duddy.
And anyway, Andy Lee was at top of the notch there as well. Like I seen him in the garden as well. Andy was you know what I mean? You have to write a sentence and do all your things. Anyway, I've done that. You know what I mean? You have to get so many. You get 20 questions. You know what I mean? So you get it's basically multiple choice. You know what I mean? So
basically.
Yeah, basically multiple choice. Anyway, so I fucking flying colours. You know what I mean? Have to chat with your man. Your man was a big boy. You know what I mean? You know. So
wait, so was it just a singular person?
You must work. You work out a lot. I see. You know what I mean? You're in good shape there, pal. You know. And he's like, thanks. You know.
You were flirting your way over.
Yeah. So I was trying to get a bit of conversation out of him because I was told by everybody that went into them, you know what I mean? They're fucking nasty. And I was saying to him, well, Jesus, you're big, man. You got to work out. You know what I mean? Because I like to work out. I like, I go to the gym. So anyway, he says, yeah, and you're not meant to talk
He has to put that subtle flex.
Everybody's telling me, oh, don't say a word, don't even fucking sneeze, because these guys are, you know what I mean, they're nasty. I had a great time with your man. I said, listen, oh yeah, we're going to Madison Square Garden. I think it was, I done it on a Wednesday or a Thursday. And I said, we'll go to the garden I says, I'm going to there as well. My friend's fighting down there. I said, my friend's fighting as well. And we got talking, and he said, shh, keep down. We're not meant to be, we're not meant to be friends here, And I says, okay.
Right, so you cracked the code.
So yeah, I cracked the code.
You got to butter them up.
I buttered them up. So this is usually when you go in for your exam, it takes about, after you do your exam, if you pass the exam, it takes about 6 months to be called, or 5 months before you get a call to be sworn in to get your passport.
You swore in like this?
Yeah. In there anyway, and he says, okay. He said, listen, okay. He marks everything off. He says, very good. I says, listen, I'll see you Saturday night at the fights. If I see you in there, I'm gonna buy you a couple of pints. And he's like, shh. You know what I mean? Don't be saying that. Guy. You're all these little cubicles. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I could. And I says, oh, sorry about that. So he says, yeah, sir. Could you go outside and sit on the bench? Outside. And I says, he says, are you doing anything this afternoon? I said, no. Did you go back to work or anything? I said, no. He's quiet, So he says, just go out and sit on the bench. And I says, all right. So I went down and sat on the bench outside, I was wondering what was going on. So next body calls me in, and he said, listen, there's a swearing in today at 2:00 in Brooklyn. You know what I mean? Could you make it over there? And I said, oh yeah, no problem. So the same day, I was over at the course, I got swore in, you know what I mean? So he, talking about the boxing, chatting with him, telling him I'm buying him a pint when I see him and everything else. So I went down the street.
He swore you in the same day?
That same day. And usually people wait, 5 to 6 months, or at least 4 months anyway.
Wow.
People couldn't believe that. I was telling people that. They couldn't believe it. I was like fucking sworn in on the same. I never seen the guy, man. But if I ever see him, I'd recognise him.
You would recognise him?
I'll fucking get him drunk, I would.
Hopefully he's listening to this podcast right now.
Yeah,
if you see this, reach out to us. We'll buy you a drink.
Reach out, man, and listen,
What I wouldn't, maybe we shouldn't call out immigration, right? Be a bit weird.
Listen,
Well, as long as you're not name dropping.
We're not name dropping you, but don't worry, your secret's safe with us.
Yeah.
Anyways, so then what? So you moved over here and you stayed, and then what'd you do from here on? When you first came to New York.
When I first landed in New York.
Yeah. You moved where directly?
Well, I hadn't really got anywhere to move into. My brother was out in brother worked out in the Hamptons. So I took a visit out to him. He was working out there, so took a trip out to him. And then my mate was in the city working in a bar.
That's insane. Like, everyone comes over here and their first stop is like Woodside, where like we grew up. Me and Holly. Yonkers. Everyone usually goes to Yonkers or Woodside back then. Now everyone's kind of pushing to
further out.
No, everyone's kind of venturing out. Like, now you see like J1s come over and they head over to Long Island. But like, you originally got off the plane and headed into the Hamptons. Like, that's iconic if you ask me. Like, coming from Ireland just straight to the Hamptons and you had not a dime on you.
What do you mean I hadn't got a dime on me?
I maybe had a dime.
I had money for a couple of weeks to last me a couple of weeks.
So 4 dimes.
When I was going through the airport, my granny called me over. My granddad loved me. He gave me a few pounds going through the airport. I'm still here from that few pounds you gave me. Huh?
He's listening to this podcast as well. He's tuned in.
So I went down to the Hamptons, spent a couple of days there, and then came into my mate. My mate was working in Forest Hills.
Yeah.
So I had a good old laugh down there, and then I went and stayed with him. It kicked off from there. My guy turned around to me, bloke down the bar says to me, he says, from Galway, he turned around to me and he said, hey, listen, you know what, you're looking for a job? And I said, yeah, I'm looking for a job. He says, well, what did you do? And I said, well,
nothing.
I worked in buildings, I was fishing, you know what I mean? But
Holt Harbor, shout out, right?
Holt Harbour shout out. So back to Forest Hills. We moved to Forest Hills, and then we were fucking full on.
You started working.
I got a job at this bloke asked me in the bar, hey, Deco, do you want a job doing construction? And I said, yeah. I said, yeah, listen, no problem. I said, I had to ask him how much was he paying me, but at the time he was paying me serious money, whatever the money was. I think it was $150 a day or $180 a day.
Yeah.
But I was thinking to myself, holy Jesus. I said, I was doing the maths on it, and I was like, holy fuck. That's like 150 quid a day at home because it was 1-to-1. The dollar was the same as the pound. Okay. But it was pounds at the time. I says, yeah, listen, sign me up. Anyway, so he took me under his wing. And I learned from him. I learned an awful lot from that man. An awful lot.
And from staring at the walls in primary school.
Oh, yeah. I learned an awful lot from him. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
This is a funny one, I went home for a holiday anyway, and I met this guy who used to be my teacher, and I'd be late, and I only lived down the road, but I'd be always dilly-dallying on the way back to school, you know what I mean, so I'd be late, and he said to me, Doherty, down the back of the class and look at the wall. So anyway, I'd be down and look at the wall, and I'm fucking looking at the wall, anyway, this went on for a long time, and, I went on, I had him for a year, you know what I mean, that same teacher for a year.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was home one time and he was up in the top house where I'd go to the fucking for a few pints, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
With the lads. And I seen him in
with
there.
The grandpas?
No, he was with me dad. He was with your grand. So my father was up having a pint with Tig, you know what I mean? So he says, say hello to Tig. He was your teacher in primary school and high school there. And I says, he was. How are you doing, Tig? How's everything? You know what I mean? So he was like, oh, Declan, he was a Donegal man, So he says, oh, Declan, he says, heard you're in America. He says, well, what are you doing over there? And I says, well, you wouldn't believe it, he says. I says, I'm building fucking walls, I says. For all the times you had me looking at them, he says, I'm building them now, he says. I'm a professional builder of walls. I build them plumb, level and square.
And what he said?
And he says, I'm glad to see you haven't lost it anyway, he says.
And then, so how did you go on and meet Mom?
My friend was finished work, and he finished work at 4 o'clock in the morning, so I'd meet him at 4 o'clock in the morning. In the summertime, we'd hop on the train, go to the beach, at the Long Beach.
Yeah.
And we met your mother.
You came on singing. Mom always tells the story.
At that hour in the morning, I was definitely singing anyway, I'll tell you that. You know what I mean? 4 o'clock in the morning, fucking definitely singing. We went to the beach and we had a laugh. There was a place called Chauncey's out in Long Beach. So what did we arranged to meet?
You and Mom?
Yeah, I think they were all going somewhere else, or we were going somewhere else, either or. But we arranged to meet another time. So, she used to come up to where I'd drink up in Forest Hills, which wasn't too far from where she lived. Mm-hmm. But she'd stop in and see was I in around there, and I wouldn't be there. I wouldn't be.
Right. Well, I'll get Mom on this podcast to fact check you. Because from what I remember, you were chasing her.
So we arranged to meet, and your mother never showed up, and I was there all night. She never showed up at the
She stood you up.
She stood me up, yeah. She didn't.
She stood you up.
She came in, but she came in at closing time. You know what I mean? About 4 o'clock in the morning. But I was leaving to go home.
She wanted to show you what you were missing.
Yeah. She was like, oh, sorry, I got caught up doing something or whatever. I said, oh, no worries. Listen, we do it again sometime anyway. And I said, listen, good night. And she was like, oh, good night. And so we ended up making arrangements again.
You ended up making arrangements for her again.
We ended up making arrangements, and I says, yeah, I'll meet you in the same pub again, you know what I mean? So she was down there.
This petty little...
She was down there waiting for me, and I was up in the horse and jockey. But she had friends in the horse and jockey who were saying, he's still here. So I stood her up and let her wait.
He showed up at closing time the next day.
I showed up at closing time the next day.
And she goes, oh, what'd she say to you?
She goes, oh, well, I suppose what's good for the goose is good for the gander. And I says, absolutely. You know what, we're starting off on the right foot anyway. So that was pretty cool. Ever since then, you know what I mean?
Fell in love.
Fell madly in love, and we had two beautiful daughters. Holly
girl.
Holly is my oldest, and Alana
Yeah.
is here with me.
Yeah, right. So how do you like being a girl dad?
Again,
Having two girls, like having actually three girls, I guess. Would you have wanted a son? And not in replace of either of us, but would you have wanted a son?
Listen, I would have wanted lots more kids, but you know what I mean. It's just the way it happened. You know?
Yeah, so you think you're like the ultimate girl dad.
I think I'm. Yeah, I love my girls all the time.
Right, so you give us good advice.
I give you good advice.
Sometimes you give better advice than mom, because mom would be like hard.
Well, yeah, I'm softer on the girls, like, you know what I mean, and I just try to give them good advice and just, you know,
Not
don't be
mess with
acting a
that.
maggot. I just say don't be acting a maggot. You know what I mean? Just fucking be easier, like, you know what I mean. You have your space, but don't fucking, you know what I mean, step out of your box, like, you know.
Yeah.
And that's it, like, you know, answer your phone, like, when we call, or shoot a text.
He's trying to at me right now. Don't at me. Why? Because
shoot a
no,
text,
this is
you
my
know?
problem, right? So I'm on Do Not Disturb 24/7, just because I couldn't be. Laura's sitting here
So
making
annoying. I
faces at
fucking
me,
hate it.
because all my friends try to reach me, but I'm on Do Not Disturb. You have to call me 2 times in order to get through. But for some reason, my mom and dad think, don't call me 2 times, call me 22 times.
Well, that Do Not Disturb doesn't fucking cut it
So,
with me.
what about you in Queens? Did you feel a bit at home in Queens?
Did I feel at home?
Like, just because you were, it's not like you were around, like, just foreigners that, like, you could.
Well, you know what?
they relate
Queens,
to people.
where we lived, the house where we lived, and the street that we lived on, and everything else was pretty good. You know what I mean? They were
Like the friendships that you had.
the friendships, the people that was
People
around
you were
us
working with?
was pretty nice. It was a pretty good place to be. You know.
Exactly. Like, a lot of people say, how did you not lose your accent? Or, like, a lot of people say to me and Holly, well, if your parents are Irish, how come you don't have an accent? Like, I don't understand why they would think we would have an accent. I guess, like, we have some twang.
Well, you do. You're gonna pick up some twang when you're in there, but you're not fucking. You hear them getting off the boat after being in England. All right, mate. What's the story, mate? Fucking. They're only here a wet day, and they're fucking having an English accent coming back home. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So, as I said, I'm here since fucking 1986, and the people, 1986. That's fucking 30 odd years, and people turn around and say, how the fuck have you got a strong accent? Now, you are going to pick up on some of the American twang,
Yeah.
as in, you know
I
what
think
mean?
mom has.
You know what I mean?
Mom's accent's gone a bit. Like, some people don't understand that or recognize mom's accent as much as yours.
Said here, you turn around and you're putting out the rubbish, you know what I mean? Put out the rubbish bins, will it? You turn around and say, put out the garbage, put out the garbage.
Or the boot of the car.
The boot. It's in the
Everyone
trunk.
thinks it's the trunk.
It's in the trunk. Yeah.
I was like, like when I first got my car, I'm like, oh, put that in the boot. And my friends are like, in the what? And I'm like, in the boot. And they're like, where's the boot? What boot? I'm like, it's in the
Your
trunk.
fucking welly boot.
Like, even the wellies, you
Yeah,
wouldn't be
yeah,
able
yeah.
to call them wellies.
Your wellies. What do you call them
Rainbows.
over here?
Rainbows.
Rainbows.
I said to my friends, I was like, oh, I brought my wellies to Ireland. Because mom would not give it up that I brought my hunter wellies to Ireland. And she was like, why would you bring your wellies? And I was like, fucking rains all the time. I'm going to bring my wellies. The first time I got them. I couldn't wear them. It was summer here, no rain. I was like, perfect opportunity. I'm bringing my yellow hunter wellies to Ireland. And mom wouldn't get over it. Like, this was the only thing that I needed in that suitcase.
Yeah.
And I was telling all my friends, I'm like, oh, my mom's
I
giving
wouldn't
out
say
to
it's
me.
the only thing you needed.
No, but in
suitcase.
my opinion, at that age, I was like, it was definitely the only thing I was bringing in the suitcase. So I was saying to my friends, I was like, oh, my mom's giving it out to me because I want to bring my wellies to Ireland. I'm like, but it rains all the
I thought them
time.
wellies were cool.
They
anyway,
were
like,
cool.
they were
I'm bringing
lovely.
those back.
Have you got those still?
I'm getting another pair.
Where?
I don't know. We're going to get another pair.
Hold
But we
on.
get matching ones.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
okay,
and
well,
then this is my
follow
favorite
the yellow
story.
brick road.
But that same summer, my grandpa, we were in Monaghan, and he has a little pond out in the front. And I was like, I'd love to go out with the boys, like all my older cousins, like all the girls would sit in the house and like have a tea party. And I was like, let's go to the pond with grandpa. Like, you know, the one right behind the football field.
Yeah.
So I was like, let's go. And all the boys were there. And everyone I was like, Grandpa, where are we going to put the fish when we catch them? And he's like, oh, what size shoes are they? And I'm like, at this point, I'm probably like a size 3. Like a little tiny fish would fit in that one. Grandpa goes, take off your shoe. I put my 2 little fish in I went home with my wellies, my hunter wellies. and he put a bit of water in the boot. And then when I caught a little fish, he threw the fish in the fucking wellies.
Yeah.
In the pond in the front of the house. Here I was, I dumped my welly out into the pond. Fucking fish was dead. He went straight flat. Didn't move a muscle. That fish was dead. Mom was livid. She was like, "You brought your fucking wellies here to put a fish in them." I was like, honestly, that's the best. I was like, that's the best use I've gotten out of them since I've had them.
Well, Granda told me to.
No, and he was loving it. He thought it was so good. This is our first podcast, and we're so excited to share our stories and have a bit of crack with everyone.
Yeah, we'll tell you the bleeding stories. So
We'll get right to it.
for now, we're gonna cut off, and we will be back.
We will be back.
Night, guys. Love you guys. Talk soon. Peace to all.